In this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can get more leads if you're a financial advisor. And this is the exact strategy we use for our business, Hemmings Financial Solutions. I'm a financial advisor, and in the last 6 months, we've gone from 0 to 90,000 followers on Instagram. It generates us hundreds of leads. And in the last 4 months, we have acquired over 30 high value clients all through this strategy. So I'm going to break it down to you, show you step by step what you can be doing to get more leads. Generating leads as a financial advisor, mortgage advisor, protection advisor, whatever you are, is probably or is the hardest part of the job, and it is the most important. You can be the best advisor in the world, but if you have no clients in front of you, if you have no leads to work on, then it really doesn't matter how good an advisor you are. So once you nail the fact and the point of being able to get leads and generate leads consistently month on month, week on week, then you then get to a point where you can shine as that advisor and you can actually sign clients, you can help people, you can build your business, which is ultimately what we all want to be doing. So I'm just going to take you onto the iPad and show you and tell you step by step this process that we've been following for our business. And as I said, we've grown to 90,000 followers, we generate hundreds of leads a month, and it's in a position where now we can actually pick and choose who we want to work with, when we want to work with them, which is a really great position to be in. So it all starts with our Instagram. Most of our leads all generate from Instagram, and we have a steady stream, as I said, of hundreds a month of people wanting to work with us. And this starts here with our O, which is the offer. And I think most advisors fail at this point and struggle at this point in the fact that they don't articulate well enough who they help and what they do and what their services are. And so the offer, what you actually do as your services, is so important, especially when you're trying to generate traffic and leads from Instagram, is you need to be very specific and on the ball in terms of what you offer clients and who and what type of clients they are. So from this aspect is you really need to know and be specific in terms of who your ideal client is. Right? So the ideal client is the most important aspect. So being specific with them, but also with this ideal client is understanding what their problems and what their pain points are from this. And once you know what their problems and pain points are, it's going to help us onto this next point, the T side of things. But being really specific with your ideal client is vital. The more specific you can be, the better your lead generation machine of Instagram is going to be. The broader accounts who are really broad with who they help end up helping no one. I think it's the inverse of what people think. People think if you get a really wide net and cast that, and you're going to be able to collect, more people because you've got a really wide net. When in reality, the more specific you can be, the more targeted you can be. When someone then looks at your Instagram, they're going to think, "Cool, yeah, this person can actually help me," as opposed to, "This person probably can't help me because I'm not sure I fit into who he can help." Especially with financial advice, the biggest misconception I think is that people think you have to be ultra wealthy or ultra rich in order to get financial advice, when we all know that that's not the case. And so when you're really broad in terms of who you help, people or consumers or the people on your content fall back into the trap of they probably can't help me because I'm not ultra rich and ultra wealthy. Whereas when you're really specific and you call out exactly who you want to help, when that person reads it and they're that person, they go, "Oh, actually, he does deal with me. Maybe financial advice is for me. I've been wondering about asking that and being able to get this in place." So it helps you on multiple levels. The biggest thing it helps you with, though, is from the traffic side of things. So we've got offer here and we've got traffic here. And traffic is what we want to produce for our Instagram, right? And we do this through content. And without a good offer and without a specific client that we help, having good content is really tough. And it goes back to the fact of when someone looks at your content, if it's really broad, they're going to think you can't help them. Whereas when you're ultra specific, they think you can. And so it's through content that we get traffic. And traffic essentially is just eyeballs, right? It's just eyeballs on your page and on what you do. And it also comes down to your bio, your Instagram bio, right? Which when someone goes on your profile, you have that Instagram bio, is being very targeted towards your ideal client. And again, it all comes down to eyeballs. And so when you can nail having traffic and good content, it makes the whole journey and process so much easier. But without having your offer on lock and having your specific client that you help on lock, then the traffic becomes very difficult. For reference, we average probably around the 1 million mark in terms of traffic. So we reach and we see unique accounts of 1 million a month on our Instagram. This has been as high as 1.8 mil, and it's been as low sometimes of 850K. So we probably average around that 1 million mark. And that means 1 million people a month 1 million eyeballs are going on our profile and our bio and are seeing our content, which is how we can then generate so many leads, which is how we can then be so selective in who we work with and how we can consistently sign clients. But it all comes down to the fact that we have our offer, we have our ideal client, we talk about the pain problems and points they have, and then we have good content and a specific strategy with this content, right? A proper strategy, which in all the videos I may talk about, but for this is the broader strategy of what we use. But on each of these points, there's obviously specific strategy at any one point that we use. But that content generates that reach, that traffic, and then from that traffic is when we get we get people booking in for what we call pre-qualifying calls, right? So this is just pre-qualified call. And this is sort of the first step, real step in terms of that journey of having a lead. So this is where someone books in a call, a time with us in our diary in terms of working out whether we can actually help them and what we can do for them. Without traffic, you're not going to get any pre-qualified booked calls. These pre-qualified booked calls can come from 2 or 3 main points, right? In general as well, but we come from our bio. So when someone looks at our bio, they can see who we help and how we help them. They then make the decision to book in a call. So it can come from the bio, but it can also come from DMs. So a lot of people will then message us questions and conversations will start in DMs. And from there, we can then say, why don't we jump on a call and have a chat about this in a bit more detail? And perhaps I'll talk about each of these different parts of the journey in more detail if you'd like to see that. So give this video a like and follow or subscribe if you'd like to see that. The other way is through emails, which again in another video I may talk about, but there's sort of 3 main ways that we can get those pre-qualified book calls. This is simply just a quick phone call where we can see if we can help, and if we can help them, we then book them in for a real call, right? And that's where we actually start that journey of them potentially becoming a client. So those are the steps that we take on Instagram and how we actually can generate so many leads. Without the offer, you're not going to get any traffic. Without good traffic, you're not going to get any phone calls or any leads really. Right? This is the leads part of it. And so they take a journey. I think a lot of advisors that I see and I look at their content, they go straight for trying to generate traffic, but they haven't got an offer. And so their content goes in a bit of a cycle where you post, you get no views, you feel really demoralized, and then you post again. And this takes loads of time, right? So you spend loads of time, perhaps time goes in there first, and then you post, you get no views, you get really demoralized. I can't spell. And then you spend loads of time on your next post, and it's just that evolving circle. And I've been there before, and it's so demoralizing. It really is. And then you look at other accounts and other profiles that are doing really well, and you think, why isn't my content going well? And it comes back to this probably because you don't have no offer or a rubbish offer. You don't know how to articulate what you offer clients, and you don't talk about any pains or problems that they have, right? Then as well, that your actual content is probably rubbish, and 99% of financial advisors' content is rubbish. Mortgage advisors, insurance advisors, you're all in the same bracket. Your content is rubbish. But it comes back to the fact that you can actually have pretty rubbish content, like poor quality content. And again, I can do another video on what good content is and that side of things, and perhaps shed some light on our strategy. But you can if you have a really great offer, right, a 10 out of 10 offer, and you articulate it really well, you can actually have quite poor quality content and you'll still do well because of your offer is so highly targeted and you actually talk about their pains and problems. And then this is self-explanatory, very simple to set up. And then obviously your actual client journey will be different depending on business to business from that side of things. But it all originates from the offer, getting loads of traffic, getting pre-qualified book calls in, and then actually signing those clients.